Good evening. I'm Don Hudson. Welcome to the 7. Let's get a look at the big 7 stories right now. And topping the list, a man has been arrested accused of stabbing another man to death on Kingston Pike. That happened earlier this week. 26-year-old Tavares Harrison has been charged with second-degree murder for this incident. We told you about the stabbing on Tuesday. According to Knoxville police, Harrison showed up at the Cokesbury United Methodist Church about 11:45 Tuesday morning with stab wounds. During the investigation, officers ended up finding another man dead in the area of Kingston Pike and I-140, just a few blocks from that church. We're now learning the man was 55 years old. His autopsy revealed that he was struck numerous times with an axe. Harrison was treated at an area hospital and later arrested. Police believe he was in a fight with the victim before that attack. Well, the man accused of killing his former boss in February has been indicted on several charges. 38-year-old Daniel Arwood facing first-degree murder and several charges, including unlawful possession of a firearm. As you may remember, Arwood is accused of shooting and killing 29-year-old Aaron Russell, Arwood's former boss, who apparently had fired him just a week before that shooting. That's the same day police were called to the automotive store and found Russell dead in a fenced-in area behind the business. They said he'd been shot. Knoxville police tell us it all went down at the Napa Auto Care Center off Middlebrook Pike, Arwood's former place of work. Arwood had apparently been living in a room at the business and after his firing was asked to vacate by February 5th. All right, flames and thick black smoke rising from an East Knox County business today. You may have actually seen that smoke from I-40 or wherever you were driving around. Take a look at these dramatic pictures really sent in by one of our viewers. The fire coming from Junk Car Mafia. Now, the Junkyard is located along Old Rutledge Pike. Rural Metro fire crews say they arrived about 2 p.m. today, still working to extinguish the flames from what we're told. We understand that several salvage cars were on fire when the fire department arrived, along with the building that was right next to those vehicles. Rural Metro tells us what happened was a car was in the garage area. It was being worked on. It caught on fire. Workers apparently tried to get the burning car from the building, but they were unsuccessful. They say the flames spread into other cars in the building, and people living nearby even say they heard explosions.
All of a sudden, I just heard a big boom, like a big explosion, you know. I seen a big blazes of fire coming from, the junkyard down here with big black smoke. I mean, it just looked the biggest one I've seen in my lifetime.
Now, ladder trucks were brought into the scene, try to attack those flames from up above. Plus, as we mentioned, KUB de-energized a section of power lines in the area, impacting nearly 500 customers out there, so that rural Metro crews could safely respond to the fire, not worry about any electricity. We're told no injuries have been reported from all this, but rural Metro is asking people to avoid that area. KUB tells us it will restore power as soon as it gets the okay to do so, as soon as they learn that it's safe to do that. We'll continue to monitor the situation. We'll bring you the latest online at WATE.com and tonight at 11. 16 years in prison. That's the sentence for an East Tennessee man who entered a guilty plea to 4 counts of aggravated sexual battery, reportedly involving a minor. In addition to those charges, 38-year-old David Wayne Perkins also entered a guilty plea to failure to appear. According to the prosecution, Perkins began dating a family member of the victim and then began assaulting the victim when the child was 11 years of age. This continued for several years. When the victim was 16, the teen disclosed the abuse, and the case was investigated by the Knox County Sheriff's Office. When Perkins was set for trial in December of last year, he actually took off to a campsite in the Cherokee National Forest, where he was captured 3 days later. An East Tennessee man convicted of driving under the influence and other charges related to a crash on I-40. Now, we're talking about 42-year-old Clint Stephen Foster, convicted of driving under the influence, reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, and simple possession when he crashed a vehicle on I-40 at Alcoa Highway back in 2022. Foster also has a prior felony conviction for possession with intent to sell methamphetamine. Now, we have some new information about a shooting in North Knoxville near University and Doris Street. This happened just after 7 o'clock last night. A witness called 911 to report hearing gunfire and seeing 2 groups running from the area in 2 different directions. The witness also reported a white Honda leaving the scene, which was later found abandoned along Woodland Avenue. Police tell us that vehicle had been reported stolen one day before the incident. Now, at the scene of the suspected shooting, officers tell us they found evidence that 5 people had gotten out of that white car and ran from the scene. When I drove by there last night, I saw crime scene tape, close to 24 evidence markers on the ground, several officers working on that investigation. We're told no suspects have been located, no suspects have been identified as of yet. New apartment buildings along Cumberland Avenue near UT's campus are continuing to pop up. The hub on campus will be the largest to go up so far, with 3 buildings in the works at this time. Now, construction on 2 of those buildings began about a year ago. Core Spaces and Juno Construction have been hard at work getting the buildings to where they are today. The first building topping out at its maximum height last month. That's going to be the first one to actually open, and it might actually open sooner than originally thought.
So we're currently ahead of schedule. So there's 2 phases here. So the first phase will deliver in what looks like now, May or early June of 2025 for an August school opening. So the building will be built and open before people move in for a few months. And then phase 2 is going to deliver in October of 2025 for an August of 2026 opening.
A lot of dates to keep track of there. We'll keep you informed when it's about to open. We are told the building will have top-of-the-line amenities for the residents to enjoy when they move in.